Welcome back to WALEX. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. On Monday at noon, we've got the Housewives of Atlanta. Now, we've got Married to Miserable. And at 8 p.m. tonight, we've got Hot Topics. Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we've got Love and Hip Hop Miami. At 12 p.m., we've got the Housewives of Miami, last season refresher before the new season begins. And at 1 p.m., we've got Grosse Pointe Garden, or whatever the hell that show's called. On Wednesday at 11 a.m., we're starting our day off with a recap of The Housewives of Beverly Hills, followed by The Loveless and The Hip Hopless in Atlanta. At 1 p.m., we're coming out with some hot topics. On Thursday at 11 a.m., our Scandal and our How to Get Away with Murder recap. Followed by Saturday with noon PopRoast. And Sunday we have our 11 a.m. open forum. And at 3 p.m. our Bravo predictions. I'll see you soon for something. Hello, good morning. Who wants to shimmy on in? All topics are open. I've given this great thought. And I have to say, I am, if it comes out that Bose said I would have sued you, I am in agreement with Bose. I too would have sued Garcel if she had implied, as she has several times on national, worldwide television, that I put my children and my wife in mortal danger. Because remember, this has gone on for a couple of seasons now. Because that break-in didn't happen this season. That break-in happened I don't even think it was last season. I think that shit was 2 seasons ago. And she still found the time, the energy, and the effort to bring up, I don't believe that they, I'm sorry. No, you ain't gonna call me. You calling my husband an attempted murderer. You calling me an insurance fraudess. Like, it's just too many crimes that I'm being accused of or being adjacent to, or you're accusing the father of my children of in that statement. I'm going to tell y'all why they didn't do anything to her. because they wanted to get away with it. They, whatever race they were, and they could have been white, they still knew you don't hurt anyone. This goes from a non-violent crime to a violent crime. A violent crime, when the victim looked like Dorit, they're on your ass. When you just took some shit, you just took some shit. They like, okay, they taking shit, they ain't hurting people. So let's all have a cup of real, because I'm sorry, that messed me up. I was like, girl, why'd you say that? That was too low. That was too low. And when you pick shit up out the toilet to throw it, you get fecal matter under your fingernails. Hey, Naomi, how you doing?
Hi, Alex. I'm good. How are you? I just had to come up here and defend Garcel because personally, I feel like it was a setup for insurance fraud. And the reason why I think that is because they were in debt to casinos in Las Vegas. And with Las Vegas comes the
That's not true anymore, because Las
no,
Vegas is all corporate debt now.
they
Um,
no he paid it
but
off right after the robbery.
but
There's
here's the thing.
articles about it.
I'm not arguing about how they get their money. What I'm saying is, Garcel, you don't, like, it was too low. It was a blow that's too low, where unless you really have smoking gun proof and that you take to the police, it's like, I can understand you not believing it. That's one you just keep close to the vest because it makes you look bad. It's like it's saying a lot about these kids' parents, and it's bringing kids in it, and it's like, no, just let that go. Let the police handle that one. Let the police handle that. I know you playing the new Angela Lansbury, but we don't want you caught up in that bull.
But the thing is, so when all of this happened and people were reporting on the robbery, and a lot of the bloggers and online was talking about how they don't believe it, like the story just sounds like like it's not believable. It doesn't sound like a real robbery. And when this happened, PK ended up making a post about a certain blogger and made it go even more viral. So if Garcel's bringing it up, it's probably because it's something that's out there in the ether, and it's something that she heard. It's not like she put it out there. Like, I don't think it was her original thought where she's like, oh, this was a setup. I think it's something that she's
I
heard.
agree. I agree. But I will say Pip Pip Cheerio has kind of the essence of my point. Um, it's one thing for us, the audience, to read the articles and to be like, that don't seem weird. That sounds kind of fishy. It's another thing when somebody that knows her ass says it. It would be one thing for y'all to hear a rumor about me just, on Lipstick Alley. It would be another thing for Chris to say something about me, somebody that's been to my house, that knows my character. So there's a difference there, where it's like people will take it from her and it has gravitas, where it's like, I can say anything as a blogger because I'm like, I've never been in the room with that person. So
True. But I think they're allowed to say if they don't believe it. If I hear a story and I'm a cast member and I don't believe it, then I feel like I should be allowed to be like, I don't believe it.
now, here's the thing. I love this. I should be allowed is the perfect. Here's the thing. You are allowed, but you're also allowed to get all the backlash that
And that's
comes
true.
with it.
I would
Because
handle it too.
I would say, I would say this is I'm glad Garcel left, because, girl, that was not the hill to die on. That was not the hill to die on, to say I'm
I
standing
would have
on.
so many questions because I would be like, why would your husband leave you after you just went through something so traumatic and you're clearly still dealing with it? The way that he even talks about it to her is making it seem like he's like, okay, girl, like, this was not nothing, no real. You can reel it back in now. Calm down. Like, even his reaction to her is kind of like suspicious. You know what I mean? If I was Garcelle, I would have landed it way better, and I would have been like, those are my suspicions. That's how I feel. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. But at the end of the day, after your robbery happened, you guys paid off your debt to Las Vegas, and it's been reported. It's all out there. There's verifications. These are things that can be followed with paperwork. So at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry if people think Garcelle died on a hill, but a lot of us in the public atmosphere was thinking exactly what she said. And I don't think that she really likes Dorit like that, or they have a personal relationship like that anyways, for her to be caring about her feelings in that sense.
No, she can't. She can't stand to read. No, I get it, and she definitely was the voice of the people, and that is definitely her legacy on the show. Who do you think they will have join us next? Hey, do you think they'll bring in Jennifer Tilly, or will they bring in another Black woman?
I think Jennifer Tilly should come back. I think they should like shake up the Fox Force and get rid of Erica. I don't know. I think they need some younger faces in there, because like anytime they throw a younger girl in the cast, it's always like natural drama between the older ladies and the younger one, because they just start hating on her and hazing her and stuff. So like it would be good drama if they maybe got two younger girls on there and had them show a different side of Beverly Hills, because like right now we're like in older money. I can't even say old money because a lot of them aren't that rich. Like they have money, but they're not like old money, except for like Kathy. But like we need some new money. We need some new money. We need some like shots of sunset vibes. Like, you know.
Hey,
Well, look who it is.
Hey.
look,
Oh my God.
look. So today is my off day. Like today is like my weekend officially starts. I'm off until like I think Wednesday. So I just like let me just come on. Like it's Ask Alex, and you know you do it on my Patreon. So why don't I extend that as well?
Thank you.
If people have a question or something like that. I'm also high as fuck right now. So look, you might have to take advantage of that. Take advantage of it.
Oh.
Anywho.
Oh God, I am so glad you shimmied on in. What about another actress? You know what I was gonna say? I agree with you, Naomi. I love that name. It reminds me of Mama's Family.
Thank you.
I want some younger women on the show as well. Like we have, our 50 plus, our stately women. Let's have some younger women with younger kids come in, or that maybe even haven't decided if they're having kids yet. That's always great. The will I or won't I have a baby, like Candace.
Do you think it's time for them to have like a Miami reboot? I think it might be time now. Like Beverly Hills? I think so.
Oh, but what I think? I think that Bravo needs to realize, okay, we have created a Tonight Show for women, basically. But we have to rotate these ladies out. And so the first group, like the first four supermodels, are iconic. Like that first round, I feel like they should all get the legacy option, where we have Legacy New York, Legacy Beverly Hills, where it's like, y'all cut the diamonds and pave the way. We're interested in your lives in a way we ain't interested in these new heifers, because we grew up with you in a way. The new heifers, y'all are gonna like, it's better to say you're the new Beverly Hills, because you are. And so that way too, we know not to expect, because like we were saying yesterday with Atlanta, so many people want Atlanta of old. Child, you can go to Atlanta right now. They got new cell phones. They didn't have the iPhone in old Atlanta.
Right.
They didn't. Do you want to go back to that?
I lived in old Atlanta from 2008 to 2013. Like it's an entirely different Atlanta now.
Exactly. It's like, I'm sorry, we can't go back to ye old. This
And
is
now-
not London.
And not
They could
everybody
even
has
call
access.
it like the new housewives of Atlanta, and keep the real housewives for the legacy, and then start a new show, the new housewives of Atlanta, or the new housewives of Beverly Hills, and just keep it going like that.
And like with drag, you expect the girls to come on knowing how to contour. We expect the girls to come on knowing you don't get your work done the night before your shoot, or you're gonna come on looking like beef tartare.
Well then.
I like when they're new and they're kind of like still wearing like cardigans and they show up and they have no makeup. Like I kind of like that.
Well, that's not gonna happen anymore.
Yeah, I can't do any more Mama Joyce wigs.
Because they know, like, people like me and Alex are gonna drag them.
Well, they know because it's flammable. I'm worried about fire safety. These people are walking around with flammable shit on their heads and no fire retardant stuff anywhere around. They don't know where the nearest extinguisher is. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Michael Jackson's scalp burned up.
Oh my God. Can you highlight this question, Jamie Tynan? Should there be time limits for these ladies, like maximum 5 to 6 years, and then it's time to graduate? I think that's a good idea, but it wouldn't work because a star is a star, and people are going to watch because of that star.
I feel like what we need is crop rotation. Everybody get I would say it would have saved Nene. It would have saved Nene. And I was saying this years and years ago. Give people, and honestly, it's the pause strategy. Put people on pause for 2 years. Let us miss them. Let them miss the camera and, humble that ego a bit. Let them get a new project going so that they have something to be interesting about on their own, so they have some authentic story that they can bring, and then bring them back after 2.5 years, and then bring them back with no warning. Like all of a sudden in the middle of the season, just there's Garcel. It's like, oh shit. And then they're a story again. And then they pop in when things are interesting. I think because you invest in them, we are invested in them. We want to see how their lives turn out, but we need to miss them a bit.
Well, hey, sorry. I was gonna say, how y'all doing?
Good.
How you doing? You know what? I know y'all talking about Atlanta, but I love that Alex does this on Sunday. I was eating. And I just put the food down because I wanted to talk about Garcel. This season of Beverly Hills was not my favorite. It was not my favorite. But I watched it off and on this season. Off and on, I didn't watch it religiously. And as a viewer, I have a couple of not rants, but a couple of things I was thinking about. I don't watch the Housewives shows for perfect housewives. I think that everybody on Housewives of Beverly Hills or whatever show, they are not perfect characters. So when I look at Twitter and other places and I see people go, oh, well, this is what they did in the past, that I don't care about that. I think for me, when it comes to Garcel, she's not perfect. But what I don't like is that I can never root for a bunch of microaggressors. When it comes to Camille and the Fox 5 or whatever they are, they were celebrating. Now, my question to the ladies would be, why are you celebrating? Why are you so damn happy that this one woman who is not up here being as problematic as a Brandy or whatever else is now off the show? That makes no sense to me. Now, Garcel is a Black woman. She was the first Black woman on that show. And whenever you're the first person in any position as a gay man or as a Black person, whatever we do in life, you're going to get a little heat. You're not going to do it perfectly. So you get Anne Marie coming in. Now you have Bose coming in. Now they are different type of Black women because they don't make the microaggressors feel uncomfortable. That's why they were celebrating when she left. And it's not about, so when you do, what is it? Won't you do it? Or whatever, that kind of stuff. Garcel and Sutton's friendship, it's not perfect either. Nobody's perfect on the show. I don't need to be perfect. Everybody, I just want the microaggressors to be uncomfortable. And that's where my anger comes from. Come on, can we agree with that? I want the microaggressors to be uncomfortable. That's all I want as a viewer. I don't care about the who's better than who and what. I don't care about that. I want it to be uncomfortable because when they saw something, now we got Lisa Rinna, Miss Lips, honey, Lips. She's out here talking about, I was voted off the island because the viewers hated on me. Now that again goes to the I know how Lisa and her husband vote. I like it. I like what they are, and we're in the same thing. But she has problems ever since she called my girl Miss Nene Leakes and Miss the amazing Miss Dionne Warwick sisters on Apprentice because she didn't know what other word to use for them. I've been looking at her sideways. So now, you vote the right way. But now you're saying, oh, I'm the victim. Now that you hear Garcel's leaving, that was she didn't use Garcel. She just said that the heat. Now, mind you, I have a complicated history with the Beverly Hills people because Miss Diana. I won't go into that. You know, that was a hot mess. But that season was crazy. It was crazy. And Garcel was trying to show the viewers. Remember, she was trying to show the audience who she was. But then here you go with drunk Erica Jayne getting stupid with her kids. So now she takes her story and goes into hiding. Actors and actresses on that show always ask embarrassing questions. Lisa Rinna, Eileen, and Garcel. I think that Jennifer, who I love, will probably be asking embarrassing questions next year. So it just was crazy to me, you know, and then also this, you know, I think for me, it triggered me because of the election. I'm still not over there, obviously, but I see on Twitter, people like Garcel, first off, Garcel is still getting people asking her. I watched it the other day in her social media. Are you eating cats and dogs? Are you out your damn mind? You must be stupid. I went into the comment section, went crazy on those people. Like you got to be crazy. You stop that. Stop that right there. So she's getting that. The ladies in the cast are not really doing anything in her regard. Nothing.
Oh, you're on mute. Alex, you're on mute.
Won't he do what? Move you from Pasadena to a converted garage in Midtown? Yes, he did.
And then keep on having cases in the courthouse like Erica be having. Yeah, so I think that for me, that's just the thing. So I don't need the woman to be perfect, but that's the issue. I don't have an issue. I actually read Bo's book. My God, I read the lady's book and enjoyed the book and everything. For me, it's just that she is not going to, I don't think, she didn't do it this year. She's not going to make the microaggressors comfortable. I'm mad with the Fox 4. That's what I'm mad at. I'm mad with them because they are there celebrating playing the victim right now for whatever reason. And so I want the microaggressors I want them to be uncomfortable. That's what I want. Garcel not perfect, but I love her. I love her for years. I love her entertainment, her products, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I love the lady, but she's not perfect at all.
Jamie Tyrant says, does a housewife have to have a man to be interesting on the show?
No.
Absolutely
no, but it
not.
helps the storyline go on.
Look at Giselle.
No.
The rule is, if you don't have a relationship, then keep your mouth off everyone else's.
Come on, Giselle.
If you
Bryant,
don't have that
Come on, Giselle.
storyline to talk about, don't speak on anyone else's shit.
Come on.
That's how it works. If you can keep your mouth off other people's relationship while you stand single, then you're fine.
So
if
let me
when
answer.
you come after somebody, and like when you Kenya, and you want to talk about Snapchatting somebody pussy for $1,400 when you couldn't get dick for $1,400.
But can we talk
when
about
you had to pay alimony for your penis?
Okay, let's talk about Bethany Frankel because I want to talk about this big scandal about the break-in. So I'm a New York City housewife fan. Actually, you know, you live in New York City. I ran into Carol. She was a sweet lady. You see the people. Bethany on one of the most famous, iconic seasons for me. She was at a bra party and she, people heard rumors about Miss Dorinda for a long time and her boyfriend, whatever. Nobody spoke about it on the show, but he comes in looking swayed like I don't know what at a bra party, and she said, "Are you doing rails? Are you doing lines? Are you?" She called people. Bethany was a savage, honey, a savage. She was destroying lives with her mouths on that show, and people, it is what it is. So now she was destroying lives. She was calling people drunks and cokeheads and all type of problems. She was doing a lot with those ladies. The business was bad. She just said a lot of stuff about those ladies. She was a savage. Now I don't agree with her what she's doing, other stuff, but she was definitely a savage on that show. They couldn't handle her. So now is Garcel in that same league? Absolutely not. She's not that. That's not. They have had savages on Beverly Hills. Brandy was a savage at one point because she ran Adrian with her crazy face off the show. So
And I also think that's kind of why it was time for Garcel to go. Like it was her perfect exit because Garcel is an actress, a producer, and a director. I think that she came on to be a reality star as a commercial for her acting, producing, and directing.
Absolutely.
It was like, this is very much a means to an end. And I think that's the true difference with her friendship with Sutton. And I think that she gave us her friendship with Sutton was authentic. And I think it was authentic until she was like, you know what? You really need this and you need this environment. I don't. I'm here for a commercial for what I actually do, and you don't have to do anything, and that's fine. But there's a level of we're never going to connect. And
No,
maybe Garcel thought she was using this as a commercial for her circular fashion house, but then she realized that TJ Maxx already exists.
but let me say this too, and I'm gonna let other people talk. So Garcel is not Nene Leakes. She's not my girl Mariah Huck. She's not those people. She's a different type of Black woman. But I want to say, as a viewer, she's come from very conservative environments, whether it be fashion, model, or whether it be in entertainment before we had social media. She had to basically do what she's doing on the show. She didn't really have to be this explosive person, punching people out and all. No, she had to do what she's done. I bet you she'd done in Hollywood many times. People were doing stupid stuff, and she kept her career going. So she allowed them. They felt uncomfortable with Garcel because she didn't really give them anything to hang on. She made them feel very uncomfortable with their microaggressions. So and the relationship with Sutton was not perfect. It was imperfect, but I don't care. I just want people. I want Cal and Dorit and all of them and Lisa Rinna. I want them to be uncomfortable, and I don't think Bose is going to be the girl for it for me.
Yeah, and if I was Garcel, I would have said to Erica too, and you got your divorce because you knew your husband was about to be indicted. So we're not going to sit here and act stupid.
Garcel, what's her name? Erica don't got no personality. She is fake and frozen. She had nothing going on for her life. That man brought her lifestyle, and now she's calling the man ugly. Like, she's mean. She's a mean old crone, in my opinion. Just terrible lady.
You're on mute again.
I feel like what he did, he deserves to be called ugly. Like, he did some ugly shit. That's okay.
But she don't care about those victims.
And I know that, like, the look on her face when she said that man ain't got 80 days. That, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to go look at that picture, at that image of that broken woman. That is regret in human form. She looked like she was about to turn to salt. That man hasn't got 80 days. I know the clock's running out, and it doesn't mean the same thing now, does it? You were going to be clicking your heels together. Just wait. And now, that would have been a fabulous funeral, too. Oh, that would have been a fabulous funeral. But, now it's a potter's field.
Too bad.
Yeah, and she's going to court for $24 million. So even when he dies, she's not going to be off the hook. So I don't know where she's coming from with this, like, I'm better than everyone attitude. Like, I made it over the next part of my life. Like, girl, you live in a pool house and you owe $24 million that you'll never be able to produce. So worry about your own life.
You live in a pool house. You live in, I just hope Judge Philip Banks keeps letting her live there, but you never know. Viv put her on the street.
Not Judge Philip Banks.
That's Judge Philip Banks' pool house. Carlton begged them to let her live, and they kind-hearted people helping a white woman when she down. That's the pool house. We never saw it, remember? Or rather, no, when we did see it, we only saw the inside. Erica would have been a beautiful girl, but instead wasted the best years of her thighs. That is that's a new level of fuck you. That makes me wonder, what did you do in a former life to deserve this? Because that's some special kind of shit. You had a taste of everything, and then to find out it was all stolen, and now you on the hook. You got to pay on the back. That's back end payment. My God, I couldn't.
I thought she was dating a new billionaire or something last year. She's supposed to be on somebody's jet or something. I'm surprised she still was in the pool house.
I would say she may be filming in that pool house for the show, just to look, down and out. But also, like, she's not unattractive, but she also isn't young. So
Did
I
you
don't
guys
know.
see the reporting on that stylist who was working with Erica for designs, and then they said that they didn't have enough time, and she stole it?
Yeah.
Was that Marco? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that. So will Erica's trial be televised? It's a bankruptcy trial, so I'm unsure. But because some people thought it was criminal, and it's like, no, it's not criminal. It's just bankruptcy. But they still think that she knew. I don't think she knew
I think
until
she did it.
I don't think she knew until it was too late, because I think the thefts were already occurring during the marriage or before the marriage.
How Erica came on the show, she was really cunning. She was being really cerebral with the ladies, and now you want to try to play the dumb blonde.
Come on now.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying dumb blonde. I'm just saying you marry someone rich. You don't really ask you don't ask, are you embezzling? You just think they're rich.
20 years.
I think that it's being reported that he's been doing something like this with his money since the 80s, but he always was able to keep his bank accounts in check. So like he would take money out to do whatever, but he knew he would have money coming in. But it wasn't until Erica got in the picture where he started just going all the way into debt, because all of the money he was getting was just going towards Erica.
I would give her 70-30. 70, I think she knew. 30%, maybe she didn't know.
But I think that, to Chris' point, it wasn't at one reunion. They came up and said, well, what about the lawsuits? People were giving him lawsuits while you were married. So there was some legal issues in their marriage that wasn't, I don't think, the criminal part. So yeah, I think that she was trying to play, what's her name? She was trying to play Camilla Soprano, where she said, oh, I'm not sure I'm married to the mob. No, you knew where this man was having dirty issues. You knew it. You absolutely, there was lawsuits and all type of issues that, and during their marriage, she absolutely knew that man was crooked.
There was that moment when she was crying and said, all the money's gone and all of this is going to be over. And then the next year, these lawsuits hit. And so now there is nothing. Do we want Crystal back on Beverly Hills?
Stop asking that question. She does not need to be back on this show. She's more interesting off the show than on it.
I like her podcast. I really do. I really enjoy her and Cynthia. They're very cute. I actually, one of my favorite episodes when they talked to Denise Richards. They was over there talking, and Denise, it was very funny. I was laughing with that one because Denise said, I was so confused. She did look confused. I love Miss Denise Richards, but she said, I didn't know what they were talking about. I was confused all the time. Then Lisa attacked me out of the wilderness. It was very funny. I think Crystal was very cute. She's a very cute, beautiful lady. Her brother was very cute too. I think she has a very sweet little podcast. I like her podcast better than Reasonably Shady. I can barely get through Giselle and
absolutely. Well, the bar is low if we're comparing it to
Robin and right.
Let's actually talk about that, because why is it that the it's Dear Media, it's Nick Viall, there's like the West Coast podcasters that are coming out of LA, Two T's in a Pod. These podcasts are all becoming like anything with who's that scar-lipped sissy?
The scar-lipped sissy?
The scar-lipped sissy.
Ooh.
The one that lips look like an asshole. Yes.
Jeff Lewis?
Yes.
That is so crazy how we got to that, because I was just like, wait, scar-lipped sissy. Those big ass lips he got, yeah. Mm-hmm. I cannot stand him.
Me neither. No, you know what? Because you remember when what's her name? I love Miss Rosie O'Donnell. She had a talk show, and she was saying, "Why did you treat Zoila the way you treated her?" Because I actually enjoyed the woman that was cleaning his house and everything. And you again, microaggression again. You treat her so badly. You say you want to pay. Rosie got me together on her talk show, which I love. That was the time when I was like, yeah, he is very mean towards women. He's very mean. And Heather Madonna, I'm not sure if y'all, Chris and y'all would know who Heather Madonna is, but this is a lady who does a lot of Bravo stuff too. And he was very mean to her too. he's very aggressive with women. I don't like that.
Yeah, he's a very intentionally mean individual. If I could choose 10 people to like be ejected to the sun, he would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Um,
podcast is a bag, though. I think everyone knows that. I mean,
well, but it's like,
easy
for
bag.
example, what is going on with Nene?
What do you mean?
Like, why can't her podcast seem to get off the ground? Like,
I was watching Kempire's video with Brooke and Teresa, and they made sense. Like, Nene is a better guest than a host. Like, she's just, I don't know, like, she's great in an ensemble cast. Like, by herself sometimes, it's not as interesting. We need to get reactions out of her from other people around her to make
I think
her
it's also her inconsistency in her putting out her work, because it's like she'll do something for like a week or whatever, and then she won't post again.
like
Yeah.
we still haven't gotten the second episode of the Nene Leakes show.
Really?
But yeah, and then she just stopped the Me and My Homegirl podcast in the middle of that production to start the Nene Leakes show. And now it's been 13 days since we've had the Nene Leakes episode. And it's like, another thing is, it's like, Atlanta is a snake that sometimes it's like y'all are eating your own tail at this point. There's nobody there left to talk to anymore. I feel like Carlos kind of did all those interviews where it's like, okay, we don't need to hear from y'all for the next 5 years unless you like go do something worth reporting on, go do something interesting, and then come back to us. Y'all ain't got shit going on.
You see, for me, I think so. I agree with Chris about the Kempai episode was wonderful. I watched it many times. You know what I think is y'all do, the YouTube and everything. I remember one of the times I laughed, and one of many times I laughed at Monique on Potomac because she wasn't my favorite. She said, "Oh, Chris, my podcast needs $50,000 for the budget." I think what happens is with these housewives, they are so in the time warp. They seem to think that to produce a podcast, to get on YouTube, you have to spend this exorbitant amount of money, when in reality, if you have a good idea and you're consistent and you have a beautiful camera, you can get up and you can film something, you can put it somewhere. And I think even with Nene's show, she has, the filming looks different. It's not, given a live stream, it's a different quality. So for that, it seemed like it takes so much time, to put together a thing. Even my girl, I love Wendy. Wendy, of course, on her channel too.
You read my mind. My mind.
Yeah, well, you can say this too. Go ahead. So I was going to say, Wendy, yeah.
Yeah, like it's harder than it looks, and I wanted Wendy to be successful.
I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. Can I break it?
Please
break it.
I want you to.
They need the money for advertising views. Mm-hmm. That's where the 50,000. You see those numbers that they have, those unnaturally high numbers that regular YouTubers. That's because they go over to, when you download the video or upload it rather, you can hit a button called promotions, and then it takes you over to Google Ads, and you show. I swear I should pull it up right now. And you know what? I ain't got no secrets from you people.
But Wendy's channel.
No, I know. I'm going to do this for like people that are interested. Let me show you.
Mm-hmm. So, but it doesn't take $50,000 to produce.
No, it takes $50,000. I would say this for the number of views that they have. It takes. I would say that's where the ad budget's coming from, because they would spend $50,000 over 6 months to get a listening audience, which is what any business has to spend. Like Chris and I are very lucky we have an authentically natural audience. Most businesses spend money on advertising. I don't know what business that's successful that doesn't.
So that's what I want to ask you, because I've seen, we don't have to mention names, but I watch all the different channels. We see a live streamers in this sector, with 5,000 in the chat, 10,000, 11,000, all the Shannon Sharp, whoever it is, they got all this stuff live streaming. And they may have a beautiful studio behind them, but they live stream it. It's just people in the chat and they talking. And I'm not sure how that connects to income or whatever. But I'm thinking if you're a Nene or anybody else, I would think that you would take lessons from Alex or a Chris or Kim Pye or Shannon, whoever, say, listen, let me sit up here. And even if I have 200 in my chat, because I'm Nene Leakes, eventually if I commit to it every Sunday, it will build to 2,000, to 5,000 without having to, sit in the studio. And even Mariah Huck, and I love her too. She tried too. And she did interviews with Buffy, and that looked a little wonky. It's like just do live streams and build up your audience and do what everybody else does. Because I feel like live streamers on a higher level, they seem to get, I guess more income. I don't know if I want to say income when they say, come to my event, buy the products I'm producing. That seemed to be the part there that I think these housewives are not getting. I wouldn't put that much money into a studio. I would engage with my audience. And then if I create something I believe in, I would tell the audience, this is what I love. And then bam, that seems to be like a cute little thing for people at that level of income.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked for some people, like Heavenly,
But yeah,
however I feel about her, she's extremely consistent.
Yes, she
is.
And
I get what you're saying, Alex. Like, you put some money into it, like, a production team is expensive. And some of the housewives, like, they spend all that money on a production team so they don't have to do anything. And that's why they're not as consistent, because they're relying on their production team to pay them to just do all the work. At least with Heavenly, it feels like, I could break the fourth wall. She has one person helping her. But other than that, she's super consistent on her own, I think. Candy as well. I think Candy at least spends the money on the team, but at least she's consistent as well. And hers are really popular. Like, if she had Speak on it for this Atlanta and just interviewing the girls, I'm pretty sure it'd be popular. So
it's the one that's helping heavily. Is his name? Is the one helping heavily? Is his name called Alpha Cheeks? Alpha Twix.
It's a lady helping her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think especially if you want to get like the everyday viewers, you kind of have to come down and talk to your people in an everyday way. Like if you're always putting on a production where you're like sitting on a couch and there's all these lights and cameras around you, like it's going to be too much of like a TV show. But if you're just sitting in front of the camera and you're talking to your audience, then people are going to feel more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you trying to say, Alex?
Consistency is what got her through. I will also say, like with Nene, she needs a production team. She needs a production team. She needs to maybe be on a panel show. Sierra is not the co-host for her, but this ain't it.
Well, hopefully we get to see her on Traitors. I keep hearing that rumor, and I think at least she'll be a part of a cast where she can really shine. So yeah, I don't want to do all the podcasts and everything or a talk show. I wouldn't watch a Nene Leakes talk show.
I wouldn't.
I find it interesting.
I was going to say, not to change the subject. I enjoyed the show I did yesterday because I brought up another topic about the Housewives of Atlanta, and I've already said it. I've enjoyed the season so much. I know Angela's not. People love her or not. I watched her video this morning where she showed off her beautiful home, and it was designed well, looked clean, it looked nice and everything, and big, nice court. I like Angela. I really have enjoyed Angela, and the fact that Potomac and some other franchises, they get 700,000 viewers in the middle of the biggest crisis, and Atlanta's coming in with 600,000. I'm not really scared about that. For me, I was more scared when New York City getting 300 or Dubai getting 200, whatever it was. Bravo has not been in the same shape across the board in all these series with high ratings. So for me with Atlanta, I'm enjoying, and I actually have faith that it will grow because I'm not bored with the episodes. Like I have not enjoyed it since, since I guess that they had a shaman there with the elephant with Nene and Kim or somebody. They were doing it. I don't know what
that Africa trip.
No. It wasn't a lady with it was a lady.
That's right. The one that said Kim was funky.
She wanted to give Kim a bath.
That was it. That lady made me laugh very much so. So I was glued to the scene with that one. But I haven't watched it since. So
that is very true. I said that in one of my throwback reviews on my Patreon. That since season 10, it went down. Just keep like further and further down. And then it got a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like I'm being told to not like Atlanta for some reason from the media. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait a minute, I enjoyed these episodes. I mean, should I care that is not in the like the 800,000 million range. Like I still enjoyed it. So I don't know. People just keep highlighting that, like, oh, it's going down every week, but I'm like, I'm enjoying it. So, and I just
And
don't
people
season
and,
short.
and so many people saying I'm not watching, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you watching?
And you keep commenting on it like every fucking Sunday.
Right.
So are you watching it, I guess.
Or you're talking so much about not watching it, you may as well go on and just peep in.
Right. And you're helping the engagement every Sunday, because that also what they look at too. Is it in the trending topics every night it comes on?
And now here's something. I have a special message for all Kenya fans. And this ain't negative. This ain't negative.
Oh, one second.
Wait a minute.
Chris!
Continue.
Here's my challenge to Kenya fans. I want you to support her on the next TV show she gets on. I want you to support her other endeavors as strongly as you support her on Housewives of Atlanta. That is my encouragement and my wish for you all. I want Kenya to succeed. But can we say, okay, girl, you've been here for 10 years, 11? I think your story has been told. Candy left gracefully. Cynthia, great. Well, she kind of was funky on the boat. But great. Well, I mean, I'd be too, losing that kind of money every year. That's sad. And I'm sad for Kenya's check. But girl, I feel like your story's kind of been told. Like, no one is saying you cannot get more television work. I want you to get more television work. Do a show about your salon. You have a whole business, dude. We don't have a hair show. Do a show about your salon. What I am saying is, as a housewife, you've sang your note. I want to see you do something more. You can come back, Chris.
Oh no, I mean, hey, that was a great soliloquy.
But I'm not. I am a fan, but I do feel like, they're like, with the stunt that's coming up, it's like, I want to see you in something different, in a different light. And so maybe her doing a show where she's the star, you won't feel the need to be so mean. You won't. We won't have to have that type of foolishness. Cause ain't nobody saying you can't have a show. Just I want something different.
I think they messed up not bringing Shereé back for this season, because I think she would have clashed really well with like the new girls, and she would have been able to.
Shereé? I don't know. She's been given 3 times already, right?
I mean, Shereé ain't got nothing to offer, unless
like maybe a friend of position. Like her and Cynthia could have exchanged friend roles, but Shereé should never come back as a main character ever.
Oh my god, I love her.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah, when we had that scene with her getting the paper towel out and putting some potato chips on, I'm sorry. A camera crew came to your house to watch you eat some kettle cooked? No.
Oh my god.
No.
Wasn't it
after the fake up, a fake breakup after a fake. I'm good. I'm good.
They gave us so many iconic moments sitting in front of the cafe all alone.
Yeah, that picture is like embedded in my mind.
Oh my god, I love that you brought that up. Chris, do you feel like those moments they're hilariously embarrassing, but it's also a stunt you can only pull once? Like Rob Dixon on the curb crying over a man that don't care about her, that was like, don't call me with this bullshit.
Come on,
or that, like these moments where you've embarrassed yourself, but it's because you lied and now everybody knows you lied. The shit looked threadbare to begin with, but they was like, okay, we gonna film you.
Well, I think that you've explained a very good parallel between Robin and Shereé. They really are their franchise versions of each other. I really think what Shereé did was real because Shereé puts herself in many embarrassing moments. Like it's almost to like a humiliation kink. They're in a category of women. Shereé, Robin, Khloe Kardashian, like they've put themselves in situations where they're embarrassed. I totally believe it. We watch them fall down the stairs of life, like you've always said.
But does there come a point when it's like, okay, we can't do this no more? Like I feel
they
like
lack shame. I think
what?
they lack shame.
Well, they lack shame, but I feel like it's also a moment when the show is like, and this was your story, and now there's no more to. It's like we're not getting growth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it is, because I feel like that's how Karen was able to hold on every year, is she showed growth. We were still interested in the Karen Huger story.
Shereé would still allow herself to be on the show knowing that she will give nothing. She will accept that season, like her fourth chance, I guess, knowing that they may fire her the next season. She'll take that risk because she don't care about embarrassing herself.
I agree. I agree with Chris. She will stay up there and give nothing and pay no bills because the people are still always attacking her about her bill payment.
I can't believe she said that on camera.
You know, come on now.
She said that they'll get it when they get it.
Right, and then she justified and say, "Well, I'm not paying the bill because it wasn't to my standard, honey. The service is done. That's not the way the world works. You get something, you pay for it. Stop it, all right." But I agree. I mean, I like Shereé too. But once we rebuilt her home and it did have a basement, all that stuff, I think that was her storyline was wrapped up. It was nothing else I wanted to see from her. You know, then she had issues with her fashion show, and you know, her stuff was lost in Japan, wherever it was. I mean, it was just too much. It was Jayne and. Yeah, I think that she's definitely can be good for like an appearance, you know, like a little pop in and you know at a party or something. But yeah, she's still dizzy. She's still dizzy lady, unfortunately.
Karen was an extra on the show in the bar scene. Of course, it was a bar scene. Shereé did act very rich her first season, and she ended up with.
But you see, Shereé, her first season for me will always go down in history because it started. So Nene road in life. When she was banned out of Shereé's party, it just changed everything. It made her become more ambitious. It made her decide to get surgeries and nose jobs and teeth, and she was always competing with Shereé. And so that part I'll give her that. She definitely Shereé and Nene's feud was definitely iconic, absolutely. But once she revealed her home, I lost interest in Miss Shereé. She's a beautiful lady, and that photo with her in the fur or the fake fur, whatever it was, waiting for Tyrone, it was very funny. It was very funny.
I wonder where Lisa Wu Hartwell is.
I don't.
Right.
No.
I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised with Atlanta that Shamea is a delightful and likable nucleus.
I didn't know she had it in her. Like, I feel like I owe her an apology directly. I was very wrong, and I will eat crow. Like, put some Tabasco on it. Like,
don't eat crow. That's what Wendy ate crow, and then that mind went south. Don't eat crow. I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust it after but let's not. This generation, we leaving the bird. Other than chicken, we leaving birds alone. Just chicken and turkey.
Well, duck.
Okay, and some duck too. Lisa Wu is a drunk. Shamea's house is amazing. It is.
She's a drunk. Jesus.
I never heard, but
Me either.
No, don't bring back Kim Zolciak. We don't need her microaggressions. We don't need her tracks. We don't need her wine and cigarette smoke smogging up the screen. She is no longer necessary.
Well, you know she's going to be on that reality show with Cynthia already.
What?
Yeah, she's going to be on a reality show with Cynthia.
What's it called?
Cynthia's booked and busy.
I don't know. It's coming out. I forgot what streaming service, but there's a reality show coming out and with a bunch of different reality stars, and Cynthia and Kim is on the same show. Same cast. I think someone in the chat can refresh my memory, but I don't remember the name.
Well, that
Oh,
sounds
got to get out.
got to get okay. A
Look,
check is a check.
a check is a
Cynthia
check.
and Kim sound like a check to me. And speaking of, now that we have had a moment from New York, the debacle.
Oh, remind me to tell you something. We didn't cover it yesterday. We were supposed to talk about just speaking about New York.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, just finish your point.
What do we have any different feelings? Have we softened? Do we care when they come back? Do we want a full reboot?
We need a full cancellation. Like they need to do the Real Housewives of Brooklyn and try all over again.
Oh, okay. Like really, like localize it.
You can. Or the Real Housewives of Queens, like Queens of Brooklyn, something, because that cast isn't it. And what I wanted to remind you of, we were supposed to talk about on PopRoast. How did they win like a GLAAD award for best reality show?
Because they had 2 lesbians as main cast members. That's why. Visibility.
The bar again in hell. Like, was RuPaul's Drag Race not even in the category? I want to know what they beat. If somebody can send that to me, like who they beat. Please.
I guess it was probably like maybe they beat RuPaul. They probably did beat RuPaul because RuPaul wins every year for having multiverse.
You know how bad that season was? I have never discontinued reviewing a Housewives show in the middle of the season. That's how bad it was. I was just like, I don't even care about the check. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting myself through this.
Real Housewives of the Bronx.
It's not Bravo enough.
No, it is.
Sort of like Jersey, though. They can make it like a Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Or they could do Real Housewives of Westchester.
I've been watching Real Housewives of Flatbush.
I heard Rhode Island is coming out.
I heard Rhode Island is coming out too, and it's going to be Italian to like, I don't know, I guess replace Jersey. Because Jersey doesn't know what's going. Jersey still like doesn't really know what's going on. I heard Marge is gone, and I'm like, I liked her.
I liked her too. She was non-problematic as well. Met her in person. She was very nice.
I hate Marge. I hate her.
Oh,
why? Do you like Teresa?
I feel like I noticed how she moved from when she came in the group with her friend Sissy or whatever her name was, and then she kind of like climbed the social ladder to get close to Teresa. And then once she was friends with Teresa, she started making all these plays to kind of like replace Teresa. It was just I just don't like her. I think she's so fake, and she moves like a snake, but she does it in a way where people like she's not like advert about it.
Is she your least favorite cast member on the show?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone else, like I like Teresa.
See, that's all you had to say.
You like Teresa?
Because I feel like Teresa is genuinely herself. Like I don't think that she puts on for cameras. And
Genuinely herself?
And that's a good thing?
I like watching the authenticity of it.
Look, I'm glad we got a Teresa stand. Like finally. I just need to understand. Because I used to love Teresa. Up until she tried to set up Melissa. I liked her until then. When she was just trying to gaslight everybody like she wasn't doing anything wrong. When she hates Melissa's guts. Like would literally push her off the cliff knowing that like she has her nephews.
I feel like Teresa would have had such a different reputation if Melissa and Joe didn't come on the show, because that has been the biggest storyline that has carried the show throughout the seasons. And like, it's really made people divided on Teresa or Melissa. And I think that Melissa is at fault and Melissa is the problem. And Melissa needs to go back to the strip club where she came out of.
Las Vegas, okay. No, so I watched New Jersey too. And I was listening to y'all. I agree with Naomi on some of these parts because for me, I always felt, again, I don't hate nobody on these shows, but you know, my issue with what's her name? Oh my gosh, Joe's wife. I forget the lady's. Oh, Melissa. My issue with Melissa is that she would get so upset. She'd be so upset, and just years and years, I can't do it. And I'm thinking, you came onto a program, not that it's Teresa's program, but you came to the space. You having some tough times. You can always go. You don't have to stay every year and engage in a battle. That was always confusing to me. If you hate this process, you don't like this, or don't like that, you can always leave. It doesn't really mean that you have to, I think it's her ego. And then when it comes to Marge, I always felt like she was a little fake, and she was really playing to the fans. And I felt like
Interesting.
You know what, Chris? I think that for me, when I watched the show, I felt like she was a little bit of a coward because she always seemed to attack people who were not popular in the mainstream. Like for me, whenever I watch the show back, whoever is not popular, whoever's having a difficulty in the polling on Bravo or on Twitter or whatever it is, that seems to be the person that Marge investigates or she has problems with or do things with. And I'm like, okay, girl, so you have an issue with Teresa one time, or at least over the seasons, but you kind of go soft a little bit, less Teresa goes with you. But any other character who's really Melissa or anybody else who's really popular, she kind of just, she stays away. She went after Danielle, she went after Jennifer, so the thing is for me, it seems easy to me. Like if you I like the ladies on these shows that if you're going to be about your business, you can go after whoever. But I feel like she always go after people who are not popular. That's what I feel.
Let me put a small rebuttal for Marge. Like,
okay.
I think Marge is like basically a quintessential housewife. I think she will go there. I love that her and Jennifer would literally beat each other to the white meat. I'm like, those were the best conflicts they had because Jennifer would go low, Marge would go lower, Jennifer would try to go lower. Marge, like, she just had a slick mouth. She was quick with the reads. I think she wasn't afraid of Teresa finally. And look, I know that she's probably the only cast member that didn't vote for Donald Trump. So I mean, that's.
But you know what? Then now I agree. Now I agree with Chris with everything. So I'm going to agree with him with that because, you know what? I not to change the subject, but I'm going to go back to New Jersey. When I saw Jill from New York City, just the way she's talked recently after the election, I was like, now I agree with Bethany because I used to not agree with Bethany. But when I think about all the women that Bethany went after, they were Trump supporters, in some crazy way. The Luanns and all of them. So back to your point. So if Marge is about that life and she supported Kamala Harris, then I guess I like her more than other ladies at this point.
Well, it's fine. I mean, I know there's a lot of look at New York's original OG lineup and they still had a great show. But I'm just saying, I just feel like just between Marge and Teresa, I haven't liked Teresa for so long. I'm not even sure if there's anything redeemable she can do for me.
So you haven't liked her since she went to jail?
I thought, well, especially because of jail, because then she never took accountability for that at all. I mean, I get, her husband was, maybe more than 50% of the reason they were there in the first place, but I don't know. She still didn't really give it to me as well as I'm really sorry this happened. This was because of me as well.
Yeah. You know what? I think that goes to somebody's point in the chat earlier is that maybe these shows, the ladies stay in there too long. They'd be up there for, 10 or 16 years or whatever years. They had to basically they had to sort of push Vicky out because she would be up there for 30 years. I think, and it makes the show repetitive, tired, one note. And that was the issue with New York City before Ebony got there. That was the issue with New Jersey currently. So yeah, they have to really think about something. I'm not sure if everything has to be new. Oh, I was going to say too, Bravo itself, they used to invest in, and then Alex brought this up to me a couple of months ago when we first came over here, when he talked about this beautiful show with Megan Ford. She was up there on Bravo. Oh, it was a show about Black ladies doing wonderful things in New York City. I think Hell in High Heels or something in Heels.
Blood, Sweat, and Heels.
Blood, Sweat, and Heels. And Bravo used to invest in other things than the franchises of New York City. I mean, of the housewife shows. They seem to only invest in housewife shows, Southern Charm, and Top Chef. That's Below Deck. Those are their favorite things. They don't really try to create new franchises.
It's okay. It is hard. Let's talk about that. because as reality show connoisseurs, Chris and I can definitely speak to the shows that have come and gone like a fart. The poor, like Blood, Sweat, and Heels, I feel was on its way, but then sadly Daisy's passing, and
the fight,
and then I was about to say, and then the fight that's what also sank Todd and Carlos King's production, was the lawsuit after the light hit Elise Neal's head. The lawsuit after the fight, because because when you think about a fight in reality shows terms, I want you to think about it in terms of you're paying cash at the ambulance. So the ambulance comes. That's a cash $4,500 ambulance ride. You get there. That's an MRI. That's a cash MRI. That's $30,000 hard money. Your check-ins and the two Tylenol they gave you, $20 hard money. So that's when you were paying, because you're a business, so they're getting it out of you. They know now if you come in as a person, yeah, they know they ain't getting shit, but they're gonna find some insurance program to put you up under to get something out of you. But you come in there under a business umbrella, hard money. So you got to look at it in those terms. So those suits bankrupt. Now, how much money do these shows spend on what? Full free?
Press and promo, yes.
They like a movie's marketing budget is the budget of what it costs to make the movie. If it costs $50,000 to make a movie, then you spend $50,000 promoting it. So I think it's sorry.
Oh no, I finished your point. I wanted to follow up with something.
I think it's the when you get a successful show, like when you get a franchise like Love and Hip Hop, you like shit. Now let's just do this shit in another city. People watching it. I ain't trying to I didn't put so much money into a Blood, Sweat, and Heel of the next 15. You know, these one-off shows that like they have one season, and I'm sure they make something back, but you could spend $1 million making one season of a show.
And I think that's the struggle with Hollywood currently, is that when it comes to even the programs we see in the movie theaters, that we get so tired of the same thing over and over. I looked at Bravo's YouTube page, and I just was curious about it. And I saw that the highest rated clip on their YouTube page was a show I forgot about, was called Stripped. It was a program where people would get naked and then walk around in LA or whatever it was, and they got millions of views on their channel. And I forgot about that show, but they used to take experiments, and some shows used to work and be very, good. But I just think that, as you said, they just got to, every year they got to continue to try new original stuff. They at least once to see if something will develop, because other than that, the channel ratings across all the programs are getting lower and lower. Even Below Deck, which was the gold standard, they had about 2 million or $1 million a year ago. Now even these shows are going below 1 million. I just think Bravo is dying, and they need to continue to try experimenting in new ways with new programs.
Yeah. What you want to say?
I'll also say, like, shows, rarely do you get a show that has a perfect first season. First seasons are usually, you got to give it a chance. It's first season.
Like reality show, or you mean like just a show in general?
I feel like it's true for both.
Because I mean, Traitors first season, or you mean like a reality show with the cast, like an actual follow, not a game show.
I feel like, yeah, I would say not a game show, but a show with the anything where there's build, anything where
it's going to be rough. Like the first season is always going to be rough.
Yeah, it's like, because you've got to get the first season, you have to establish relationship, and that isn't always the most interesting to do, but it's necessary to have emotion through the story.
Shows like Jersey Shore blew up on the first season, though.
I mean, sometimes you can blow up on the first season, but that's not really the norm. And so I feel like we have to be a lot more gracious. And so do networks, where it's like, okay, look, Go on and do first and second season, maybe even together, so that we can get to know these people, establish story. So then around the third season, we can really see, okay, I've gotten to know and I like, and then because seasons 3 through 7 are your sweet spots, your golden times.
Mhm.
It's also the producers to blame too, because they're leading the storylines that a lot of us aren't interested.
I don't think Bravo lost sight of its audience. I think Bravo liked to do the same thing and they didn't realize, like, we're growing and changing, unlike your cast members.
Can we have an honest conversation? Because I saw something in the chat.
Yes.
The Martha's Vineyard show, like, it had some flaws, and I just feel like it just didn't work. Like, so many people were sad, but not that many people were watching as well. So is that Bravo's fault, or was the show actually just not entertaining, or do you think the show had like a bad, I guess just a bad experience where it's like the shit, I'm high as fuck. I'm trying to get through this interview, y'all. But yeah, I feel like how I lost my point. But y'all know what I'm saying, or no?
Yeah, I you know what? That was one of the shows I didn't watch, but I do know people. I've watched some of the reviews. Maybe it was just
like, was it going too soon? Basically,
maybe it wasn't. Maybe because people said that one of the guys was problematic on the show. He was, I don't know. I think that maybe
the show with Black millennials. Like, I wanted to see that, but I just wasn't entertained at all. And I was trying to support this show.
Yeah, maybe it was an experiment that Bravo took that didn't work out, and maybe that won't be the last time we see wonderful, intelligent Black people on the show. I hope not. That we have another franchise or another experiment, but maybe that experiment just didn't work for them. Oh, you know what? But I'll ask you, since you watched the show, do you think that some of those cast members can maybe do like Southern Charm does, where they go to the summer house or they go to the Aspen? I've seen these shows. They do different. They mix the cast. They put them together like they do with Vanderpump. Do you think that some of those cast members could go to summer house to jump over there and mix it up?
Maybe that would work. Like,
Yeah.
take a little bit of the Martha's Vineyard crew, put them with Vanderpump people, and maybe make magic with that. But I don't know. I was looking for something like all Black, like just millennials and stuff like that. I feel like it's interesting, and we don't see that a lot. But I don't know, just something about Martha's Vineyard I just did not find entertaining.
It was pretty boring. They didn't get the right cast. They should have got more wild people to actually turn up on the show. And then the 2 wild people that they kicked out the first 2 episodes.
Because I thought they had so much potential, but I was like, I'm not. I'm looking at Words with Friends more.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I am nervous because this is my first time calling into a call-in.
Oh,
and
welcome.
Thank you. I've been watching this show since 2019. Like, I love you and Alex channel so much. Y'all are so damn funny. And I'm not even gonna lie. It took me like a full year to warm up to you, but you're so damn funny. You have a great sense of humor, and I'll be waiting on them reviews like the 1st and the 15th. I'm sorry. Thank you guys have such a great day, and thank you guys for doing what y'all do.
Thank you for joining us, and we enjoy hearing your thoughts. I want to say about Martha's, it to me fell victim to We Don't Want to Be Loving Hip Hop. I don't know if, and here's the thing, I don't know if there's behind the scenes production was like acting them to say, can you do that blacker? Because those stories are rife in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if it was that where they were just like nervous. I don't know if they just cast it. It was just poor casting because none of that, like there was no, like, you watch regular Summer House and you see, okay, this is about a house where there's a bunch of summer romances. And
Mm-hmm.
there was no sexual tension. Everybody had girlfriends, and then it was
Yeah, that too. That annoyed me. Like everybody had a girlfriend or was in a relationship.
And it's like, that's not the point of Summer House, because then it's like, well, y'all are already in relationships, like moving away from this phase of life. Like, you come to Summer House because you're single and you're bored in the summer. You don't go to a summer house in a relationship. I mean, maybe, but like, that's what you do the next year, like after you've met somebody, but it's not. It's much more like y'all do what Sierra and West did. Like, you come on single, you meet somebody. There was no meeting and mingling. There was no rooting for this relationship, because that's what the show is about, relationships. And their friendships were non-existent. They wouldn't hang out. These are people that would not hang out together in the city.
Some of them hang out. Like,
okay,
3 of the cast are actually friends in real life.
They need to bring back The Real World.
I thought The Real World was on. I just wasn't watching. When did it go off?
I mean, The Real World is on, where this is the real world right now.
We are the real world now.
We are. Can I was going to ask a question too, because actually I thought about this. You and Alex, Chris and Alex, y'all review these shows, and I was thinking about this. It feels like when people review shows, especially new shows, it's a way to, as it does for me, as a way to sort of engage a new audience into something that they don't see on their TV or because they maybe they're on the phone. Now, as reviewers, what I notice sometimes, and I could be wrong, I notice that people that are not a part of the African American community, and no shade to them, because we follow different channels, I don't see them supporting the non-housewife shows as much, whether it be like the OWN shows or the Love and Marriage Huntsville or the Bella Collectives I feel like I wish that it was more the reviewers, the community of reviewers would really accept more brown shows basically and review them, because it seemed like they would review a Vanderpump show, Housewife show, a Below Deck show, or something on TLC or whatever show, or 90 Day, whatever, but they really don't double down. Like, I follow so many people in the same sector, and I look at their channel, I'm like, wait a minute, well, why Alex and Chris and Kim are talking about these shows, but we don't see it on, I don't mention the name. And I sometimes feel like, I kind of give a side eye to that, because it's all in the Bravo family. If you love Bravo, then support the other shows that happens to be featuring predominantly Black cast. Well, even I had an issue years ago with New Orleans Southern Charm. It was almost a predominant cast of African American people, but they had 2 white people there, and people didn't love that show. Sometimes it gets a little. Y'all been reviewing shows for a long time. Y'all probably even know some of the reviewers. Have you ever asked them, say, hey, why y'all review everything on Bravo, but don't really double down when it comes to a non-housewife show that's happened to be African American? That's very interesting for me to know what y'all think about that.
I have never thought about what other people review.
I do.
I am too busy running my own channel. I know the people that I like, and like I know my little circle, but I also know, like, oh, if somebody said like Heavenly stop reviewing
RuPaul Drag Race.
Not Drag Race. Huntsville, because the fans was getting too crunk. Also, I'll say too, you never know why somebody will stop doing something. It will be because their audience doesn't watch it. I would say, as a YouTuber, I cover shit that I think people are gonna watch.
Well, yeah, that too. You still gotta.
Y'all will say we ain't watching. You may as well find something else to do productive with your time, sir, because we ain't watching that. Because we ain't watching that, and y'all will say it's strong. You ain't watching that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch something else. Because
Alex,
your audience.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying, breaking the fourth wall is just like, yeah, like I'll do a show that's like outside of what everyone's watching, and a lot of time and effort goes into one video. So like you can tell when no one's watching, and like you get 300, 400 here, and then I have my Atlanta Potomac review at like 4,000 or 5,000, so I'm just like, why aren't people doing that? So I do most of my reviews, like those type of reviews, on my Patreon, because at least people, if they want to see it, they will support me reviewing it for them. So like if you really want to see me do this, then look, you'll support my Patreon and watch me do it. And then I will do the whole season. Like right now, I'm doing the next 15 on Peacock on my Patreon. And I'm like halfway through the season, I was like, this was a good fucking show. And I don't even like Carlos King, but this was a really good show.
You know, because Alex, well, Alex knows this. I email him. So what I do as a viewer, I'll just say this. So what I do as a viewer, whether you're black, white, man, whatever you are, if I subscribe to your channel, I'm old school in this way, I'm going to reach out to you. And I will reach out to creators and ask them, just old school, like you putting a stamp on the letter. And I say, hey, my name is Mel, and I watch your channel, and I noticed that, you know, you're not reviewing stuff. And sometimes they'll get back to you, sometimes they don't. But I really, that's the question that's on my mind. When I subscribe to people and I notice that they don't review something, I do think that I get curious about it. I'm like, well, why not? Why are you not reviewing these different, even gay shows? Like, you know, like I made a joke about Drag Race, but I would love to see Dr. Heavily cover Drag Race. Like, if you're a straight woman, no. Wait a minute. Let me back up. Heavily's not my favorite, but but would I love to see a straight black woman cover LGBT stuff? I would like, come on, girl, come on over here and play with us. I want everybody to really do everything. And sometimes when people stay in their own little comfort zones, whether you're white and you only cover white shows, or you're black and whatever, I will question that. And not that it's a bad thing, but I'm going to get curious. I'm going to write you an email and Alice know, and I'm going to write and say, hey, can you would you consider? I'm going to ask a question, absolutely. Because I even asked bigger channels about politics last year, because I saw people in the black community, and I was like, well, why are you not covering? I will write letters to people.
Because I will say also, because it can invite in negative attention and negative stuff that you just don't have time for, that you just don't want to be bothered with. So I can understand why some people are like, nope, keep that door closed.
Yeah, like the whole Potomac and colorism.
Like, exactly. We don't want to turn this into something else. Let's see what are the comments.
If it's respectfully, I mean, I don't expect everyone to review everything. Like I don't want a political show from Alex. Like, just because I like politics, me and my friend who actually is a political scholar, I could talk about that with him in case like I don't have all the information. So some people, like, I just can't expect them to talk about everything. When people review what they want.
Not Alex catching strays.
It's not a stray. I have always said I'm not a politician. I'm a comedian. I know about the Real House. I watched the episode from start to finish. So that's what I'm going to make the joke about. I'm not going to read the New York Times article and then do the other work to find it. I'm not doing all that. I'm not.
And I think also with the smaller channels too, especially the ones that are trying to get in the algorithm, they won't cover the shows that a lot of bigger channels are already covering because they won't get the views. So they'll do smaller shows like Love After Lockup or like other shows that don't have as a big of people reporting on it, so that they can start getting themselves in the algorithm.
Because
I will say that
it's easy to find yourself, in the algorithm, because look, I'll be looking at my hashtags or whatever, and I'm just excited just to see, because you can look up hashtags or whatever, see what review videos pop up. So, if you see yourself in that, then it can be really packed in that category. So someone with like, say 100 subscribers, like I would say do something where, not everyone's really watching, but something you really know about, and it'll bring attention to it. Especially
something you're interested in and actually watch.
Because there's something for everybody on YouTube. That's the great thing about it. You can look for that person who's talking about what you want to hear. You don't really have to hear it from everybody. So
Quad on Housewives of Atlanta. I have heard this request.
I've always wanted that to happen.
Is it like, honestly, I feel like
I think it would work.
I don't know. You know why I don't know? Because I feel like we've watched you for 11 years and I guess we're going to watch you have a baby now. I guess that's what it is.
You pregnant? I don't know.
Well, in the reunion, she says she's, talking to Dr. Jackie now, and she might be pregnant any day now.
Shane's gonna steal her one.
But I
Uh-oh,
feel, you
uh-oh,
know what
uh-oh.
I feel like? I feel like Quad is a guest that stayed too long. Where I'm like, I'm sick of looking at you.
You know what? I didn't know that Quad was the beginning. So I remember I called into your show a couple of days ago when you talked about, the issues that was going with Funky and some other people. And when you broke it down about her, being a part of that, I was like, oh my gosh. So that was an eye opener for me. But I want to say to Chris, I've enjoyed your Married to Medicine because in the space of the review, so Married to Medicine, I totally agree with you about. I think you did a good job because it's very, very hard to talk about Quad without people, obviously bringing up her trauma of, being domestic DV survivor and her family tragedies. And I think that I think she's a very tragic, she has a tragic past. But she doesn't always make good choices. And I like that you kind of do it in a way that doesn't allow people to, because it's hard to talk about her. Quad does have her fans, and I've called into something, and they're like, "Oh no, but she had I said, "Yeah, I know. I don't believe in a man having domestic issues. I don't. That's not my thing. But she's making some bad choices, So I think that you did a good job with that because this season she's been a hot mess in my opinion. So I think you did.
Thanks. I mean, I'm trying to be fair and balanced. Like Quad is just as at fault for that. The tiff between the Lunsfords or whatever, like she participated in that as well. So I just played that part out. Like I still do I like Quad for the show now? I don't know.
I want her there. So that's
I wanted her there last season, but this season is just like. But now I want to see her without the Sweet Tea storyline.
Yes. So now that Sweet Tea is gone and Phaedra is gone, as I said when I called into other programs, now she's going to be in a hot seat. Now, I didn't like Quad this season because she was the woman that loved to investigate all the other characters on the show. She loved investigating people and bringing out paperwork and all that. She didn't do that with the dentist and the two doctors. She kind of cowered down. So now that they're gone and they're going to be saying, okay, King's a thief, they're already saying it. And allegedly that they may come out and say he's a criminal. They may say he's gay. They may come out with all type of stuff with him. That's what the ladies do in that show. I'm going to need Quad to go season 1, like she did with Toy, bringing out, Toy's charges and stuff. I'm going to need her to find Tammy. I need her to find Tammy. I need her to find out what Dr. Jackie's husband does in the Dominican Republic. I need her to really research these people and go old school Quad. That's what I need. Because, she's not my favorite, but she was a coward this season. Again, I like the fact that you did that because, and also, I really don't talk. You don't have a call-in part, so I can't tell you these things.
I know.
But you know what I was going to say is too. You said something I thought was good about Sweet Tea. She's like just a regular good old country lady, but she don't know how to read. She don't. And this whole argument for the whole season has been so frustrating about Quad is jealous of Sweet Tea. No, my point of view is Quad don't even see Sweet Tea. She is mad with her friends. She saw Sweet Tea was used as punishment to Quad. So Quad was aggressive with Sweet Tea. That was all it was. It wasn't about Dr. G. I don't believe she ever loved Dr. G. I believe it was a marriage to convenience. Dr. G found that out, and he was not a man. He was not a real man, and he did things that was not what a man's supposed to do. Now she's going on to have fun. Now the ladies on the show is saying, no, we don't want you around. We don't want you to film anymore. And that's why she kind of go, hey, okay, girl, I'm going to go to your baby shower. She's doing stunts and shows like my girl Mariah said that she does. She does stunts and shows, but it's not about. She has no real feelings about Dr. G. She never really did. She don't care about Sweet Tea either. It's all for the show. Her major issue, as we saw in the reunion, is with Simone, Dr. Jackie, and Dr. Heavenly. Those are her major issues. It's always been about friendship, everybody, not about Sweet Tea and that marriage. She was jealous about that friendship that Sweet Tea was being. God bless Sweet Tea, but she don't got enough sense to come out the rain sometime to be that manipulated by these women who done that for 100 years on this show. That makes no sense. But she was mad with the friendship. She was never mad with that. Yeah. So for Sweet Tea to get up and say, you're jealous of me, girl, study a little more, be a little more, you're jealous because of my friendships with your friends, not because I'm with a man that you never loved, honey. Come on now.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. Like, that's really like a lot of people don't see is that it's really between Quad and the friend group.
Yeah.
Ever since Quad gave that group her ass to kiss with the sister circle thing, they have held that to heart. That really, like, look, Alex, with sister circle. I'm sorry to even bring it up. I don't want to say it a third time. That's another word I
When
want
you
to
say they held it to heart, I mean, you
They-
thought that she told that,
Look.
like you thought that she'd taken their firstborn.
Right. Like that's what really was the divide right there. When Quad had that little solo success, when she was really like came out as the fan favorite, and then had the show, and then made the other girls feel like lesser than, and they were doctors and everything. So that really hit a nerve with them, and they kept that with them ever since Quad
It is
was
shocking,
right,
how fragile those women were.
about that, which
I
crazy.
mean,
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
over a daytime talk show on a YouTube network
That failed, like what, after 2 seasons or 3?
after 2 seasons?
Yeah, but when Quad came back to the show, tail between her legs, like they beat her. Like they made her. That's why I keep saying, like, they want Sweet Tea off the show, but I'm like, Toya, you are going to be the whipping boy again, and maybe Quad too.
Now I like to, so you know what, Toya, oh God, I think she's a beautiful lady. And I'll never forget ever when she went to one of the doctors and said, I'm having issues with my lady parts. And they opened up her legs and saw a hamburger because her husband had basically went to town, understand, and they were having too much of a good time. You see Toya and her husband have a hamburger meat, honey, because the doctor said that she was shocked what she saw because the punishment,
hamburger.
it was hamburger. That's what she, it was a lot. But Toya and hamburger meat. It was on. I gotta find the episode. But she went to one of the doctors, and it was after her session with her husband. Her husband and her have a wonderful relationship. They are very connected sexually. They just go to town. But Toya is, one of my favorites on that show. Actually, she is, because she really can get in the mud. She can do her thing. She stands up to them. She's been quiet for the past couple of years, unfortunately. But I like when she's in the hot seat. I really do, because she can really turn it up. So I like when she's doing that. But yeah, I think that next year might be good. But I'm glad that Sweet Tea's gone. I think Dr. G needs help. I think he needs serious mental help because he's not right in the head, in my opinion. He's not right. He's not right at all.
Oh my God. Well, I want to thank everybody for this fabulous Sunday call-in.
This is great.
I have enjoyed myself.
This is a rarity for me.
Ever so thoroughly. Chris, thank you so much. It is. I had no idea he was coming on, y'all. This has been
no idea. Yeah, I just felt it in my spirit today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm actually gonna call you. I gotta tell you something.
Okay.
But I will see you all later tonight for Housewives of Atlanta. Bye, everybody.